Susie, you talked about how in order to have your variety of students meeting the standards, you have to do a lot of differentiation and a lot of variety of activities. So you're doing one-on-one or small group work, and the students are doing center activities.
Yes.
Tell me about how you've organized your centers so that they're practicing the key skills they need to build knowledge and learn when you do your shared reading.
Okay. Well, the organization process is very important for this to be successful. And teaching the students how to do the centers and how it's organized is also a very important part of the program or the organization to be successful. So when they come over here to the center wheel, they see all the different types of centers. We have fiction, nonfiction, skill practice, listening, and free choice. And every student is in a group based on a shape, so they're grouped. So, for example, say a student today in the square group, she looks at the chart and sees, I am a fiction center today.
So I take my folder.
So she gets her folder.
Jimenez.
And out of the square cubby, and she's going to turn to her fiction center, and there she'll have a menu. And that menu has 6 different activities to choose from. And so she's going to look and see which one she wants to do.
So they can choose which one.
Yes.
And I think that's really important because a lot of the research shows that students need multiple ways to be engaged, not just one size fits all.
Right.
So letting them have choice actually probably increases their engagement in the activity itself.
Right. So she is going to choose a fiction center for today off of her menu. So she comes over, she knows that fiction is yellow.
So fiction is yellow.
So she's going to choose a yellow cubby. So say she chooses the cubby that's postcard. Within that bucket, there are going to be 3 books, and these books are color-coded based on levels of the student. So on her menu, she had a sticker, and that sticker showed her what color dot that she was going to use. So she comes and chooses, hers was blue.
So her menu had a color dot, and that color dot was blue.
It was blue.
So that means that she's reading blue books.
A blue book.
Which is her level.
Because this is her independent level. She's doing this on her own without my help.
Okay.
So she's going to look in her bucket, and in the bucket she has a directions page, and it tells her the materials and the steps. She's been taught how to use this, but this is just, a reminder in case she forgets what to do. And also within that bucket is an example of this would be what we expect for you to be able to do for this center.
It's really a model of exemplary
model.
work in case she forgets. I'm sure you modeled this
I did.
weeks ago, but in case she doesn't remember, it's there for her every time.
Right. These are ones I created, so they know what the expectation is. So then they'll get a recording sheet, and this is where they're actually going to do theirs. So they'll read the book, and then they'll do the activity. So when they're finished, they put their stuff back in the cubby, and then this recording sheet is going to go into her folder.
So I'm doing fiction today, so I find my fiction.
And she's going to color in the square she chooses.
We did postcard.
And then she's going to slide it into her sleeve. And
there you go.
And then it's there for when I collect it and check her work.
How often do you check this?
Usually weekly or every other week, just to make sure they're keeping up with it and they're coloring in and they're finishing it, those things.
And so we have the other this was called postcard, right? Because she's yellow. So these are all the fiction activities.
This is a summary activity. Everyone has a different
Right.
skill that's focused on. These are nonfiction activities.
These are all nonfiction.
This is more of a skill practice activity.
Right.
That's
Singular,
not like a
plural,
book based.
Same, different.
And these are free choice, and these they actually have a lot more choice within what they're going to do. They're going to practice their spelling words, but they could do it with Play-Doh, Wiki Sticks, those kinds of things. There's the Georgia Weekly Studies where they're going to select a magazine to read, and they write on it, and the mystery readers, and there's a lot of different activities they can choose from.
So if someone is watching and they're saying, I want to do something like that, that looks really cool, what would be the advice, the first steps and some of the key things to think about?
Your organization, how you're going to store your materials, and creating directions, and examples like we talked about. And coming up with enough activities so everybody has something to do is very important.
So you can focus on your guided reading.
Yes, and then teaching it. I mean, you have to spend a lot of time at the beginning of the year teaching them how to do this, because that's what's going to make it successful, because they can do it on their own independently.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. So next we're going to look at going back to shared reading and writing and how she used Charlotte's Web to teach some more of these summarizing skills and retelling skills leading up to that little essay we read.